When you close your eyes and visualize the most iconic exotic sports cars of the swinging 1960s, which names instantly come to mind? Naturally, the proud Ferrari 250 GTO or the radical, rule-breaking Lamborghini Miura dominate the conversation. But what about Jaguar? While legendary for the quintessentially beautiful E-Type and the dominant D-Type that conquered tracks worldwide, the brand is rarely mentioned in that same mid-engine supercar breath. But what few people know is that in the mid-1960s, hidden deep within the dark, highly secured engineering bays of Coventry, Jaguar was quietly sharpening a secret weapon. This was not just a car. It was an automotive masterpiece born with a singular, ruthless objective: to march onto French soil and utterly crush the absolute dominance of the Ford GT40 and Ferrari at the most grueling race on Earth, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. This was the Jaguar XJ13. It possessed every single ingredient required to define a generational supercar. Elegantly proportioned, mid-engined, naturally aspirated, and mated to a traditional manual transmission. Most importantly, it packed a visceral, ear-shattering exhaust note that could rival the masterworks of any famous composer. This was Jaguar's ultimate bid to reclaim its racing crown. And without a doubt, it remains the most beautiful and the most insane vehicle the British manufacturer ever created. Work on the XJ13 officially commenced in 1964, under a shroud of absolute secrecy. The foundation of this machine was an entirely custom, lightweight aluminum monocoque chassis, hand-built and engineered specifically for a mid-engine layout. To clothe this uncompromising racing architecture, the brilliant aerodynamicist Malcolm Sayer sculpted a curvaceous, slippery aluminum body. Drawing direct inspiration from the rapid, leaps and bounds advancements in aviation technology of the era, the XJ13 was an absolute vision of low-drag elegance. It was designed to pierce through the air like a silver bullet. But the true crown jewel of the XJ13 sat directly behind the driver's head. Jaguar's engineers created what is arguably still considered the most magnificent engine to ever bear the leaping cat emblem, a prototype, all-aluminum, 5.0-liter dual overhead cam V12. The origin of this monster? They essentially took two of Jaguar's legendary XK6 inline-six engines and mated them together at a 60-degree angle onto a single, common crankshaft. Initially breathing through 6 carburetors before being upgraded to a cutting-edge Lucas mechanical fuel injection system, this bespoke racing V12 could scream all the way to a blistering 8,000 revolutions per minute, pumping out a brutal 550 horsepower. This immense fury was channeled to the asphalt via a heavy-duty 5-speed ZF transaxle. Meanwhile, to save precious development time, the suspension intelligently borrowed and refined proven components from its older brother, the E-Type. When the XJ13 finally turned its wheels for real-world testing at the notorious Mira test track, the performance data sent shockwaves through the entire engineering team. The car was not just fast, it was blindingly, historically quick. This aluminum prototype easily clocked a track record top speed of 161 miles per hour. Even more impressive, during highly classified high-speed trials, the XJ13 managed to set an unofficial UK closed-circuit lap record. It was an undeniable testament to the car's incredible aerodynamic stability and relentless power. In fact, that record was established so fiercely that it would stand entirely unbroken for the next 32 years. On paper, Jaguar was holding a certified world beater, a machine destined to dictate the fate of the global endurance racing circuit. Yet, despite its otherworldly specifications, the XJ13 would never see a single green flag. It became a tragic victim of shifting corporate priorities and the sudden, brutal politics of motorsport. By the time the single prototype was fully sorted and ready for war, the executive focus at Jaguar had shifted heavily toward maximizing the massive global sales of their luxury road-going sedans. The racing budget was ruthlessly squeezed. The proud XJ13 was left behind, sitting quietly in the shadows of the factory, waiting for a racing dawn that would simply never arrive. In 1966, the definitive nail in the coffin for the XJ13 project was hammered home. The FIA dropped a regulatory bombshell on the prototype racing class. To prevent manufacturers from entering highly volatile, one-off experimental monsters that bore zero resemblance to cars sold to the public, new homologation rules were established. The mandate was strict. Any vehicle competing with an engine displacement over 3.0 liters had to have at least 50 production versions built and sold to the public. For a boutique operation like Jaguar's racing department, building 50 road-going variants of a mid-engine V12 supercar was a financial and logistical impossibility. Furthermore, the pace of automotive evolution in the late 60s was merciless. While Jaguar hesitated, Ford unleashed their massive 7.0-liter, 427-powered GT40 Mark IV. On another front, Porsche was putting the finishing touches on the 917, a dominant machine that would soon alter the racing world forever. Jaguar's executives had a bitter realization. Even if they poured millions into a production run, the XJ13 would be rendered entirely obsolete by the time it finally hit the grid. The project was officially cancelled. The lone, completed prototype was wheeled into a dark corner of the factory, left to gather dust for years. An unfulfilled dream of British horsepower, completely hidden from the public eye. After years of dormant exile, the lone XJ13 was finally rolled out into the daylight in 1971. The car was brought to the famous compression-banked track at Silverstone to be the centerpiece of a promotional press video celebrating Jaguar's engineering heritage. Tragedy struck during the filming. As the XJ13 was howling through the banking at high speed, a severely aged tire suffered a catastrophic puncture right at the apex of the turn. The car spun violently out of control, slammed into a retaining wall, and flipped over twice. Its beautiful hand-beaten aluminum skin was disintegrated into pieces. Miraculously, legendary test driver Norman Dewis walked away from the wreckage completely unscathed. But Jaguar's priceless prototype was left a mangled, unrecognizable heap of twisted metal. The wrecked shell sat neglected for another year until the chairman of Jaguar personally commissioned a painstaking nut and bolt restoration, determined to bring this mechanical phoenix back from the ashes. Completed in 1973, the original XJ13 was meticulously rebuilt to its exact 1966 specifications. Today, preserved in pristine condition by the Jaguar Heritage Trust, this legendary one-off occasionally appears at exclusive global car events. It stands there, breathtaking and proud, as a monument to a time when automotive boundaries were pushed to absolute extremes. A permanent reminder of the ultimate fire-breathing GT40 killer that never was.